What's up? Cobra Kai here, and today we got Cobra Kai Season 5, Episode 2, Mole. So this episode starts off in a flashback to Okinawa in 1972, where we see a young Sato training his students, and one of the students happens to be a young Chozen, and all of his students are doing right, and he's basically like, use your head, and yeah, but then he sees Chozen, and Chozen he's like, you're using a pillow to soften the blow. A man without honor is no man. Do you want to be a man, Chozen? And then immediately just goes back to doing what he was doing, but with Chozen putting the pillow back into the sand. But then in present day, we see at the new Cobra Kai dojo, we see Terry Silver talking to all the students, minus Tori, who shows up late. And they're talking about the new senseis and how things will be different. So Tori shows up, and he's like, speaking of champ, here's Tori. And Kenny's like, when are you gonna bring your trophy? And she's like, not today, because she's still mad at Terry Silver. None of the Cobra Kai knows that Terry Silver paid the ref to what is the word? To make sure Tori won. So no one knows except for her, and that's why Kane's like, hey, you won, so why don't you bring the trophy in? So, yeah, so then Chozen, or Joe as his fake name is called, like talks to Tori, and it's like, hey, you're the champion? And she's like, yeah, I guess. Which is, yeah. Yeah, they have a really good talk. She has a really good talk with Chozen, and Chozen's like, yeah, so then Terry comes in, and Terry's like, oh, we're talking, and then he does the tongue sudo, and he's like, you know tongue sudo? And he's like, yeah, he's from Kyoto, and he's like, Kyoto, he's been there, and he's like, just use the shrine next time you visit. So, back with Daniel and John, back with Miguel. Miguel's hanging out at his dad's apartment when he's talking to them about Luis and his wife, and he's like, he's not married to her. Luis is from a previous marriage, so yeah, always previous marriages. Oh yeah, so Miguel's dad and him are having fun. So meanwhile, Johnny and Robbie are trying to find out who Hector Salazar is when this guy comes up to them trying to tell them to move their truck. But Johnny, being not elegant in English, in Spanish, thinks that this guy is trying to buy. Yeah, he just thinks that he's trying to buy the truck from them, but he just wants them to move the truck out of the way. That's Johnny for you. So Johnny and Robbie are talking, and he's like, sometimes you have to get the apples. Sometimes you have to, but he's like, why don't you climb up the apple trees? And he's like, an apple tree? And he's like, yeah, you were talking about apple tree. But then they see the guy running away, driving away with their cars, with their van, so they have to go after him. So, oh yes. So Miguel calls his mom, basically confronting her on her lies about how she's like, you lied to me. You said you said that you didn't tell me that he doesn't even know he exists. And she's like, Miguel, Hector is a bad man. He's like, well, he doesn't seem like that. But then Hector says, Miguel, we're going to a fight club. Doesn't really say that, but it's a fight club. So, oh yeah, so Robbie and Johnny are, walking around where they see this eating peppers contest. And and Johnny's like, I got this, but Robbie's like, no, I got this. He and his mom have been watching Hot Ones on YouTube, and he's got it. So they basically show a montage of them both eating the last pepper, because we don't actually get to see the last pepper. We see the pepper jar full, and then immediately cuts to it being empty. So Robbie's like, give me the last one you got, and then the guy's like, El Dragon. So Robbie's able to defeat the guy by eating the pepper, but he later reveals that he didn't actually eat the pepper. He just faked it with a candy Johnny brought back. Johnny bought from a store. So very good on Robbie's part. So yeah, back with Cobra Kai. Chozen, or Joe, is talking to Terry, but then so that's when Tori comes in and confronts him about the fact that he lied about her winning, and he's like I didn't really lie, and he's like, our relationship may not be as good as what you and Kreese had, but Kreese isn't Cobra Kai material. Kreese gave in to his inner demons, and that's why he's in jail. They don't know that he's in jail, but you know. So yeah, so she's like, if you want to stick with Cobra Kai, I'll be training you so you can be the future of this dojo. But if you want to leave, you can leave. So Daniel's talking with Chozen about how he's doing really well, and Chozen's talking to Daniel, and as we all see a glimpse of Tori looking at her trophy. Okay, yeah, Chozen talks over Tori looking over at her trophy, and yeah, decides that she wants to stay at Cobra Kai, because guess what? It's the only dojo around, because I guess if Eagle Fang was around and this happened, I guess she would go to Eagle Fang, but since Cobra Kai is the only dojo around currently, it's the only place she can stay at. So yeah, so Chozen decides to go over to Terry Silver's house and hang out with him, and he starts saying about how he has a rival in LaRusso, and Chozen says that he had a rival once, and flashes back to Karate Kid Part 2, where he says that he should have won the fight against Daniel, and then he says about how his dad died of cowardice. So yeah, that's how it happened. So anyway, it's time. So Terry and Silver are drinking when they both say Karari. That's the kind of Boone song. But anyway, yeah. So Johnny gets a call from Carmen about Miguel being in and going to a fight club, so he decides to go to the fight club himself. One of his friends sees that Johnny's looking for him, and sees that he's FBI, so they call Hector, and Hector basically confronts Miguel in his evil ways. And Hector's evil. He goes from good guy mode to evil mode, and basically confronts Miguel about talking to the feds. And it's like, I haven't been talking to no one. And he's like, who were you talking to earlier? And he's like, it was just his mom. And he's like, you're telling me that you came to Mexico alone. So yeah, so he's like, give me your phone. And he's like, so he looks through his phone. We see that Miguel calls Devin, but he has her listed under Devin Lee when he has everyone else listed under their first name. Weird that Miguel has everyone listed under his first name but Devin. So we see that he calls Devin for some reason. So he looks through Miguel's call history. Miguel has Netflix, so he can watch this show. And I even looked through Miguel's photos, and he goes back to nice Hector mode by saying, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry about what just happened." And he's like, "Let's go." But Johnny sees Miguel, but Miguel doesn't hear him, so Johnny gets into a fight with Hector's people because he thinks they're FBI. So they get into a fight with them. And a big fight happens. But then then Robbie hands Johnny one of his peppers so he can spray it in the other guy's face, and they're able to leave. So Johnny and Miguel and Hector go to a bar. Where they see where they talk about how, he's like it's like what happened in Ecuador, and Johnny's like, Miguel's like, what happened in Ecuador? And he's like, success, but Miguel's mom and Miguel's grandma ruined it for him. And he's like, and then the people at Ecuador did the exact same thing. And he's like, and he's like, he feels nothing in Ecuador. And he's like, nothing? And he's like, nothing. So he's like, Miguel, and he's like, Luis and his mom are probably there to steal Hector's money. So he's like, Miguel, do yourself a favor. Don't get a girlfriend. Don't get a wife, because it just ruins things for you. So Miguel's like, yeah, I better go. So then, as he calls his mom, Johnny shows up, and he and Johnny have a good reunion. And he tells his mom that he's coming back to California. So that was the end of the Miguel going to be his dad arc. Wow, that was short. So back at Cobra Kai. Terry's like, there's no class day. He's got something to deal with. So he's like, hey Terry, what's up? And he's like, oh, hello, Chozen. And he figured him out. And he's like, every time he goes to Kyoto, they say kanpai. But Chozen said Kiwari. That's what people say in Okinawa. So Chozen basically just outed himself without even realizing that he was outing himself. So Chozen's like, so Terry's like, anyone that can defeat Chozen will get paid. So they try to defeat him, but Chozen takes them all out, and Chozen's like, this is the end of the line. You'll stay away from Daniel's family. You'll stay away from Miyagi-Do. You'll stop doing the expansions, or you have crossed the line. So that's the end of the episode. Really good episode. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a really good episode. I enjoyed the Chozen Terry dynamic. I enjoyed the Miguel and his dad stuff. I enjoyed that Robbie and Johnny are finally bonding after 3 seasons of Miguel. Johnny wanting to reach out, Robbie not liking him, Johnny trying to reach out, they get into a good relationship, then something gets ruined, they get into a good relationship, something gets ruined. Hopefully by the end of the season, they can finally have a good relationship. Because season 5, I'm glad we had no Sam. Because this episode was great. And I don't like Sam. As this is the last episode, which was one of the Cobra Kai Rare's new favorite episodes. This is my new favorite episode because I liked it. So anyway, that's it for this video. Remember to strike first, strike hard, and no mercy as we see you on episode as we go through this journey on Cobra Kai Season 5.